think the media
I'm many things, Owen Jones, but I'm not naive.
You are. Well, no, can we just say the Spectator is a classic example?
Yeah, I knew you were going to bring that up, and I won't let you hijack that.
No, it's not about hijacking, it's about the Spectator.
Your smears and lies about me are not going to be dealt with tonight, just move off it.
We're going to talk about the media.
I'm not going to let you hijack the BBC to do this. It's got nothing to do with it. What I want to ask you is this. When the far right behaves appallingly, that's thuggery. But when the far left does it, that's activism. I don't understand the difference.
Absolutely. Spot on.
I won't finish what I was going to say about Spectator.
No, you won't.
Well, you will.
Because it's not right for you to take the BBC
that
to do
magazine has
that
defended,
got nothing to do with the BBC.
It has defended Greek neo-Nazis.
No, it
has published an article. Yes, it has. Everyone.
And by the way, the editor is responsible.
In defence of the Wehrmacht. You're
why
the
don't
chairman.
you answer?
All right, guys. Welcome back to the channel. It's great to have you back. I just want to say thank you to people who've subscribed in recent weeks. It's much appreciated. I obviously want to keep making good content, and I think the last video, the Lucy Powell videos, have done pretty well. There seems to be a lot of appetite out there to see how crazy she is. But we've got a little change tonight, but it's only a small change. We're looking at your favourite and mine, little Owen Jones, and this is a classic moment from. It's a few years ago from when Andrew Neil had the late night political show, and he had Owen Jones on, and Owen was in a particularly bad mood that night, and he'd been on and done a feature about the rise of the far right, and it was around about Brexit time when I think there'd been some issues, if you remember, with Anna Soubry and things like that, and a few others, and there was a lot of people being called out as Brexit traitors and this, that and the other, and a lot of people getting sort of hassled on the walk into Parliament, around Parliament Square, and he was on to have a whine about that, really. And so what this was him talking about, there was a little feature, and then he was talking about the rise of the far right and how terrible it is. Never mentions the left, never mentions how violent the left are, how violent Antifa are, the socialist worker hit mobs that go all around the country and sort of set up counter-protests. Never mentions any of them, and how violent as well Antifa are, and all the fact that they're always masked up and everything, and they always seem to be helped by the police. They always seem to be marched into any protest by the great British public to sort of sow some unrest and whatnot. And it was just basically it was sort of talking about that, but it got a little bit of us, obviously got a little thing with Andrew Neil anyway, because Andrew Neil at the time was the chairman of the Spectator, and it was just an interesting little snippet of when Andrew Neil and Owen Jones went at it a little bit with each other, and it was quite an interesting little set to, and that's what we've got for you tonight. And I will not go on any longer, and I will play the clip. I think we've got it set up as to where we are. It was about the far right, and he was talking about the rise of the far right. So here we go.
Let me come back.
So I don't think you have a case.
All right, let me come back to this issue of the rise of the far right. There is no question that there's been more activity from the far right, more thuggery. We've seen that. Some will say there was also been a rise of more on the hard left as well. But I would suggest to you it's still very much on the margins. They make of an impact because they're violent. They did to you what happened there. But compared with the national rally in France, 33% of the vote last year, the AfD in Germany, they got 93 seats in the Bundestag. That would be like the hard right having 60 seats in the British Parliament as opposed to none. The Lega in Italy, they're in government. Vox in Andalusia, they got 12% of the vote. I mean, they're nowhere here compared to that.
I think, I'm afraid you make the case for me. Vox in Spain is a striking example. Spain was the only major Western country on the continent where the far right was not a political force. That changed a few months ago with their breakthrough in Andalusia.
Yeah, but it hasn't happened here.
Well, actually, that's not true in the sense UKIP have now been taken over.
They have no seats in Parliament.
They've been taken over because of our electoral system. You know that full well. Tommy Robinson's faction.
They've got 3% in the polls.
Am I going to finish the point?
I'm just putting some facts to you.
A few months ago, they soared to 8-9%. in the context of a sense, because one of the things that unites this country, particularly many Brexit voters, is the sense that Theresa May's deal is a terrible deal. That sense of Brexit betrayal is what UKIP are poised to. And just quickly on this,
but they haven't done it yet.
On this, look, this is what is frightening for me. If you look, for example, at anti-Muslim bigotry, which is what Tommy Robinson, and he has a huge online presence, hundreds of thousands of people share his stuff in Britain, if not more. That what he's feeding on is something fed by the press. So when it says, for example, on the front page of Daily Express, Muslims say to British, go to hell. When the Times falsely says that a Muslim child, a Christian child was taken against their will in a foster child, which was corrected. When the front, when the front page of the Sun,
think it's all been caused by the media.
Newspaper says 1 in 5 Muslims in Britain support
you've made
ISIS.
that point. So if that's the case,
if
the media is complicit, what was the German media that fueled the rise of the AfD?
Absolutely.
Well, again, you've got to look at each particular...
Doesn't know.
So what was the French media that fueled the rise of the National Front?
There is, in all of these countries, there are forms of racist media which have scapegoated migrants,
not mass media,
and immigrants, but all of them have obviously have racism that is endemic. The issue is, just quickly, the issue is when racism exists, we know it exists in every country. Clearly, when mainstream outlets, day in, day out, say things about Muslims, about refugees, about migrants, blaming them for all the problems
I ask you,
of
if the media is complicit, what was the mainstream media that did this in France or Germany?
Well,
Absolutely.
again, I mean, in all of these contexts...
So it might not be the media.
Well, Andrew, just quickly on that. Anna Soubry was called a traitor. I was called a traitor. When a far-right fanatic killed Joe Cox, they said, death to traitors. Traitor... enemies of the people, crush the saboteurs, all of which end up on the front page of newspapers and then are regurgitated by these people. Of course, in each country, there is specific local context.
Let me ask you one other point. We're almost run out of time, so I want to ask you another question. I'm many things, Owen Jones, but I'm not naive.
You are. Well, no, can we just say the Spectator is a classic example?
Yeah, I knew you were going to bring that up, and I won't let you hijack that.
No, it's not about hijacking, it's about the
Your
Spectator.
smears and lies about me are not going to be dealt with tonight, so just move off it.
We're going to talk about the media.
I'm not going to let you hijack the BBC to do this. It's got nothing to do with it. What I want to ask you is this. When the far right behaves appallingly, that's thuggery. But when the far left does it, that's activism. I don't understand the difference.
Absolutely. Spot
I
on.
won't finish what I was going to say about Spectator.
No, you won't. Because it's not right for you to take the BBC
that
to do
magazine
something
has
that has got
defended,
nothing to do with the BBC.
It has defended Greek neo-Nazis.
No, it
has
hasn't.
published an article. Yes, it has.
And by the way, the editor is responsible.
In defence of the Wehrmacht.
Why don't you answer my question?
You're the chairman of the Spectator.
I'm not responsible for the content. Answer my question.
There wasn't enough Islamophobia in the Conservative Party. That's what we're dealing with in the Spectator, like other newspapers.
All right.
Now, in terms of left-wing activism,
you've run out of time, so you can't answer the question. So there you go. So
everyone can look at the record of the Spectator.
Everybody can look at the record.
Incited racism against
and you
Muslims,
and I may return to this,
but
not on another forum. Tonight was not the night to deal with your lies and smears about me. So let's leave it and we move on. Owen Jones, thank you very much.
So there we go. Interesting little snippet there, and I think he'd come on. Obviously, there's a lot of bad blood there anyway, and I think that's where he was aiming to get to the Spectator part of it, to have a pop at Andrew Neil. But he had no answer to all those responses from Andrew, all those questions. He had no answer to it because he's got his own little rhetoric as Owen Jones, and once you veer off it or throw a spanner in his argument, he's got no answer to you. He doesn't know what to say. He doesn't know how to respond. You know, the question about left-wing activists, right-wing thugs. It's true. There's loads of thugs on the left, like we talked about. Antifa, the socialist worker mob. And obviously a lot of Islamic extremists as well. Look at David Amos that was murdered in his own constituency. In his surgery, and numerous others that have been threatened. They've had their surgeries in their own areas. They've been bricks through windows and smashed up and threatened, especially over the sort of Palestine issue and all that, and all that going on. There's been a lot of threats. A lot of people very scared about what's going on in the background and how they are being threatened to vote a certain way. So it's like he's got, you know, he thinks the left it's all perfect and all sweet and dandy, and it's not. You know, he's basically got an opinion as Owen Jones, and if I mean, other people will listen to other people's opinions. He just won't listen to anything. He's not interested. He thinks that everybody else is an idiot, and he knows the truth. You know, and that's where we are with it. You know, but every time he goes on anything, he gets absolutely battered because his arguments are so thin and flimsy. There's loads of other clips of him getting absolutely destroyed, but you know, by certain presenters and commentators, and he's just so pathetic. He obviously, I can see how upset he is. He seems so upset about it all. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting, and I'm going to bring you a couple of other videos that are regarding Owen Jones, because I just basically he deserves it, because he's an irritating little oink. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I don't know what you think, but please tell me. Get it in the comments. Tell me what you think of Owen Jones. Please write your comments. I will try and respond to everything, like I have done from previous videos. I just want you to see this. I think it's well worth enlightening people who don't know what he's really like, because he's sort of been a little bit quiet in recent times. But he's a big Corbyn fan, so we might see him emerge again with Corbyn's new party. That'll be interesting. Anyway, thanks for joining us. It's great to have you back. I appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. If you could subscribe, that would be awesome. And if you can like this video and comment, that would be awesome too. Thank you for joining us, and I will see you on the next video.